Because of social media, companies have switched their cool, complex logos with oversimplified and basic icons, which are absolutely complete garbage. So my mission is to take these 3 icons and change them into better, more realistic versions of themselves. First, let's start with MrBeast logo, and let's change this into something way better. So we start this out here just by adding the normal MrBeast logo and distorting this tiger to match the shape of the original, just using warp. After that, we're just going to mask it out a little bit more. This takes super long, but it ends up looking really good in the end, so I'm very happy with it. Now we're just going to mask out even more all the edges to make them a little sharper. Then we make the biggest adjustment to the whole piece and make the actual tiger blue. We just use a hue saturation layer, invert the mask, and paint over the parts in the areas that we want to actually become blue. Then we just put in that lightning that really makes this whole logo pop. We just use a lightning overlay and put the blend mode on screen. After that, we're just going to make the lightning actually pink to match those same pink and blue MrBeast colors that we all have come to know and love. I then desaturated all the teeth to match the same white teeth in the logo. As you can see here, all the little tiny details make the whole thing look so much better in the end. After that, I decided to cut out the tongue. I don't know if this was the best idea in the end, but I was trying to match the logo as good as I could, and it did match. I don't know if it looks the greatest though. Then we used a fur brush just to mask out the edges to make them not look as sharp as they originally were. Using an exposure layer, I just turned the exposure almost all the way up to create a white, bright eyeball just to make it more vibrant and make it pop a little more and stand out on the blue background. I then spent a while adding some purple highlights all over the logo, just like this, masking it out using some blend if to make it look good in the dark spots. This takes a long time, but it does look really good in the end, so I'm happy I did it. And with that being said, let's look at the end product. So here's the original logo that already looked pretty good, but here's my logo. I really love how it turned out. I think it looks very vibrant and realistic. So now we're on to the Pringles logo. I'm excited to do this one. I think it's going to be really funny just to make realistic. The logo is already pretty funny in the first place, but just ultra realistic. It's going to look so cursed. Started off, we're going to add in this normal picture of the Pringle Man and cut out the shape and make it this weird yellow tan color. Then we're going to use a black solid color fill layer to make his eyeballs. And this was the point I could really tell this is just going to be so stupid looking, but I decided to continue and keep going through with it. I actually used a skin texture to make it look like he is a Pringle in this. Just a weird sentence in the first place, but I put it on the color burn blend layer, and then I use another skin layer, put it on overlay to make it look like a potato chip. Then I added in the mustache, warped it a little bit to make it match the original shape, just like this. Now, after we had the mustache situated, I decided to use Control and Distort to distort this tie into matching the same shape as it is originally in the first Pringle logo. Now we're going to use this random dude that I found, and we're going to cut out his hair. We're going to put that right on top of the Pringle Man's head. Just like this, we're going to cut it out with a normal solid eraser and just match up the shape. Add that little swoop in to the side over here, just like this. We then used a fur brush actually to make it look like the hair was sticking out over the forehead, and we started adding some shadows to the Pringle Man. After making his hair brown, we started adding some shadows just like this. And to do this, I actually put this under the skin texture, so it gives this really cool grungy texture thing that looks really nice in the end, and it makes everything look just a little bit more realistic. So if you're having trouble making stuff look realistic, maybe try to do that if you're using textures. If not, you just gotta keep working and it will eventually look amazing. So we're just gonna add a bunch more shadows to everywhere on this thing to make it look even just a little bit realistic, if that is even possible, but we tried. Around the eyeballs really helps accentuate that roundness. Then I added these bright lights to the eyeballs to make him look like he's actually looking off at something. It has this in the original logo, and it just really helps the eyeballs actually look around and a little bit realistic. So then I added in the logo and deleted this bow tie that's already on the logo, just like this. After we do that, we're just going to replace the logo in the same spot that it was in the original one. And this is the final, how it turned out. I think it's pretty funny, and I think it's good. It might be a little cursed, but I think it's hilarious, and I'm pretty happy with it. Here's it next to the original logo. A couple differences, but I like how it turned out. So the next logo I chose was the Firefox logo, which already looked pretty cool, but we're going to make it look even better. So to start this whole thing off, we just grabbed a picture of the Firefox logo and used these two skies to match the background. Then we added in the earth and the fox just like this, and we used Puppet Warp to be able to make the fox fit the right position. After that, we masked out the tail and part of the body that we did not need and warped it into position again. Then we added in the tail and used Puppet Warp again to match that same shape. After that, we faded out the tail just to make it match the body and warped it a little bit more. We then masked out a little more of the body just to make it look more circular, as well as adding some shadows to the earth. Then we added some exposure to the tail and some fire to make it look like it's burning and glowing a bright red. After that, we just added some subtle glow to the top of it, just using an orange solid color fill layer on the blend mode of linear dodge add. Then we added some orange to the rest of the fox to make it just the same colors as the original logo. Then we added some blue glow to the planet, just like this, on the inside and outside of it. Now we're going to add some more blue to the rest of the planet, and I'm going to let the rest of this play out in a nice, long speed art section. You guys can just sit and enjoy the music. Now that we're at the end, this is the final product. I really like how it turned out. I think it's pretty cool, and I love the space and the fire and the vibrancy it gives. Here's it next to the original photo. A couple differences. I didn't add the hand in there. I was a little pressed on time, but I hope you guys like it. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.